It was about halfway through the night, and everyone's gone about their business. But Sarah, you were with everyone as they exited the sewers. Jack
Indeed.
came back a slightly bit more Terminator than before,
Oh.
but your dog sort of distracted you for a while with talks about random things you didn't really understand or grasp at the moment, but he seemed happy with his explanation.
Aha.
And ultimately, it kept you busy until your exit from the sewers. On your exit from the sewers, you had gotten a message from Sterling. He wanted to see you, and it seemed urgent. As soon as you arrived, he took you out for clothes shopping. He wanted you to make a good impression when you went to go talk to the Carthian higher-ups. Sterling says, well, I did some talking, and I discovered that a few others had some similar problems to your own. They were called to duels as well, or died in a way that suggested they had been dragged into one. I thought that since this menace came after you first, perhaps I could get the council to assist us in some way. So you've got a meeting now to present anything you know and see if they're willing to put in anything to stopping it. I think it's win-win. I think this is good.
I guess. That's you have a better way with words, Sterling, than I do. I don't see why,
Well, because you happen to know more than I do, he says, just sort of sheepishly rubbing the back of his head.
Uh-huh. And so
Get
the
out
other
more,
Carthians have been targeted. Have some of them survived this duel?
I believe so. I think they intend to explain it when we get there.
Okay.
Or at least in all the detail that they have. As he says all this, he pulls out a tape measure and starts sizing you up and picks up a nice clean dress from off the department store racks. So, which color would you prefer? I think you look good in a green.
What dare I ask, what type of dress is it? Is it like something that Sterling would have picked out from his era?
Oh, he's definitely trying.
Oh no. Nope. We're going more modern here.
What
So,
era
well,
is
if
he
you say so.
He's
And
from
we
the
have
1920s.
a small little comedy of errors here going on. Just trying on this one. Oh, it doesn't work. And, it takes about a couple of hours.
Yep, makeover
But,
montage.
Once you have your dress, with Sterling, you approach Tiger Hall, a red brick section of skyscraper sandwiched between lower-level tenements and upper-level department stores. It was the former headquarters for the political machines of Gotham, but now is a minor historical landmark and a boring set of offices. Despite that, traffic around the building seems rather high, especially at night. Sterling knows where to go and walks with you casually past the few visible blue uniformed security personnel of the building. Just the faintest whiff of ghoul oozes off of them.
Of course.
You find yourself in a small meeting room. Oval table with 3 sitting there already. One is a sweet-looking woman in her 20s, dressed and ready for Pioneer Village tourist dress. White bonnet, flowery dress, clean, tidy, and with her hands politely held on the table. Let's see, where did I leave off in the sentence? There we go. The second woman has fair brown skin and wears a modern business pantsuit, browns and blacks. Nothing fancy, all business. And lastly, there's one more individual as you come to sit down. You can feel an uncomfortable chill in the air. Guntram, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, the last person that's sitting there is it's a middle-aged, well, sort of looking man. It's difficult to pinpoint his age, considering that he looks rather pale and unhealthy. Pretty athletically built, though. He's bald. He has somewhat pointed ears, and icy, well, yeah, it's almost icy, snow white kind of eyes, definitely not naturally looking. And he has a bit of an elongated face, pointy chin, and yeah, pale skin. You can kind of sort of see his veins from his neck sort of crawling upwards, like blue-looking veins. And well, that's what Gundam looks like.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah, and he's wearing, despite his creepy look, though, he is wearing a really nice, very expensive-looking suit, which is a rather weird contrast, I suppose, with how monstrous he looks and how nice his suit is. It's a bit of a weird contrast.
Excellent. And Guntram, you know that you are here at this meeting with a high-level individual, a low-level officer, and yourself. You are here to listen, ask as many questions as you can to figure out the situation, and ultimately to see if you are the minimum level of help that can do something here.
All right. Well, after Sarah approaches us, Guntram stands up and extends his hand to introduce himself.
The businesswoman will also likewise get up and do the same.
And if Sarah accepts his hand, he shakes it, a firm handshake, and he introduces himself as Mr. Guntram Goodweather. Pleased to meet you. Your name is Sarah, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. And for what it's worth, she looks very uncomfortable being the center of attention in all this, especially wearing a dress. It is not her usual fare, and yeah, she is very much looking deer in the headlights at everyone.
The black woman reaches over and tries to give you a shake of her hand if you accept it. Good evening. I'm Heidi Simmons, and this is Annabelle Sweet here, our senior representative for the evening, and as he said, this is Guntram Goodweather. Go ahead and have a seat. We've heard that you're an injured party to this recent rash of kindred duels and murders, and have been at the center of an investigation of your own, is that correct?
Yeah, I have been trying to suss out the details on my own, correct?
Alright. Well, we're hoping you may have some facts to share about the source and motive of this breakout, and that in return, the Carthian Movement Gotham Council is willing to put its support behind your activities. Let's get down to business. She pulls out like a small sheet of paper she's prepared ahead of time, and we'll kind of walk around the oval table and just sort of take a quick little presenter stance. Our facts so far. Kindred have been accosted on several nights, most within the last week, the number rising and then dwindling as of last night. Challengees are drawn from their homes and nightly businesses to fight for their lives. We know that because several Carthians have survived these duels. There may have been more duels than reported, as individuals may be missing and unconfirmed dead in unknown locations. Challengees have been unable to confirm if challengers are a part of any group or covenant within the city, or if their membership indicates an attack on our persons by said covenants. Annabelle leans in on the table, whispers and winks, Invictus! Heidi continues as if nothing was said. If there's anything you'd like to add from your own investigations, it would help us a great deal in identifying who our enemies may be. We feel it is unlikely that this will be the end of it with our current information.
Sarah is kind of looking around everyone at the table, and finally her eyes center on just a blank spot on the table as she kind of starts to go over her own account.
Mhm.
She'll ask too if it's Carthians that have just been, well, if they've looked into any of the other organizations, if anyone's been accosted, because as far as she knows, there's at least one crone that has been targeted.
We've tried extending offers of information exchange with the Invictus and the Crone. However, they have not responded to our queries. We have not tried with the Ordo Dracul. However, historically, they choose to not share information when they can. Lancia Sanctum, though, responded quite quickly and indicated that none of its members were affected so far. Not
Isn't
that
it
it knew of,
suspicious?
anyway.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Perhaps. But we still need more information, I would say.
Well, the closest we've been able to get, the closest I've been able to get to this is finding the source of whoever manufactured the rituals. And she'll recount their visit to Ryugi's home and to the blood clinic
Mm-hmm.
and all of the apparatus that they found therein. He also seems to have a not sure what he's using, but it's more sorcery than science, from what I can tell.
Hmm. And, Guntram, you were personally caught up with at least this information, right?
Hmm.
Okay, good. So we don't have to go through the whole explanation then. Let's see. So it seems we have a culprit then, says Heidi. Have you been able to figure out why he's doing this? Is he alone in this?
From what we can tell, he seems to be acting on his own, not with any of our organizations.
What do we know about this culprit?
He used to teach at Gotham University for some time, and then, barring his mortal family's supposed deaths, somewhere along the way, he became one of us, and it's hard to say what he's looking for, but he seems very invested in ancient Egyptian rituals.
Sounds like someone to keep an eye out on. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you can find him, that is. So far, we haven't been able to. We've only, like I said, we found his places of residence, but not much else.
But you are continuing your search for him, aren't you?
Of course. It's just the trail seems to be getting a bit cold. I feel like he's already a few steps and we're just kind of trailing behind him at a leisurely pace, almost.
Hmm.
Have we found out anything else about the individual? Do we know his covenant or his clan?
like I said, I don't think he's acting with any covenant, really. Although he does seem to take a lot of notes from the crones.
So, out of character question, does Guntram know anything about the kind of stuff that they do in the other covenants? Like, does he know anything about Kruak or anything about the coils or anything about Theban sorcery?
Of
Like,
course, gossip and hearsay are totally free. You know the Order to Cool is a bunch of mad scientists ready to cook up some abomination or another just every other week. The Crones are a bunch of magical wackos, and the Invictus are all assholes.
Yeah, but but does he know anything about that? Like anything more concrete? Like, does he know that the Circle of the Crown, for example, do Kruak rituals? Does he know that the Lancia Sanctum focuses on Theban sorcery? That kind of stuff. Does he know those kind of things?
Yeah, you would know it in very broad, general terms. They do rituals, they call them Kruak, they involve blood, they do things. If you want specific information, we'll have to see how much occult you have. And you might have to roll it.
I will. If that's is that
Alright,
intelligence
go
or
ahead and
occult?
roll some into cult to see what you happen to know, and we'll get some specific questions and answers.
All right. It's not gonna be my best roll, but we'll see. I got one success.
Alright, so what kind of question answer do we want here specifically?
I think, well, he's probably going to be a little bit biased, but probably also the thing he knows about the most is it's the Lancia Sanctum and Theban sorcery, because his sire was from the Sanctum, so he wants to know. Like, I want to know more about that, if possible. Like, what does Guntram know about Theban sorcery?
Well, I have not read very much on it myself.
Okay,
However,
well, I'll check.
I
Okay,
can
now.
connect it to something that Sarah has perhaps described that was in the workshop. In the
Mhm.
workshop, it was described that Vitae was pooling and collecting and being stored. The Lancia Sanctum, in fact, has a mechanism for this within its own prayers and rituals. It typically
Mhm.
pours into a cup or goblet,
Mhm.
and it will normally stay that way for maybe about a month within the cup. And it's usually a good way to just sort of keep some extra vitae on hand.
Yeah. Well, after thinking for a bit, Gundam then actually says, well, I hate to say it, but I'd say that the Invictus are actually, in fact, the least suspicious in all of this. After all, they don't have any kind of magical occult mumbo jumbo like the others have, like Circle of the Crown has Kruak rituals. The Lancia Sanctum has Theban sorcery. In fact, I know that they have one ritual that allows them to store vitae in a cup or a goblet. I believe that the Order of the Cool have their own sort of rituals, albeit more scientific, that they call the coils.
In
I think we
fact,
should
part of
look
her
into
description
these.
was that they were being put into syringes and stuff, which locally is a style of the Order Dracul.
So this guy has been borrowing basically everyone's dirty little secrets. Question is how he got all of this information and he was able to refine it into something wholly his own.
I have to say, it's quite impressive that he managed to steal from not one but several different covenants, and then also combine all of their disparate techniques into one product, says Annabelle. What kind of tools does he have that would allow him to do this?
That's a good question. Something that we probably should try to find out.
Hmm. Well, it sounds like you should be very careful. Heidi, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and render a judgment on this. Sarah, Guntram, I would like you two
Yes.
to work together, and I'd like you, of course, to find the location of this individual and perhaps anything else you can about him. And, dear Guntram, don't feel like you have to do anything too rough here. Uh, we only need to figure out what he's up to, and we'll handle the rest. The Carthians will deal with this problem as soon as we have your information.
Of course, I will put myself and all my resources at the Cartian's disposal and make sure that this is dealt with.
You're such a dear, Guntram. And she'll just
If you don't
smile
mind.
broadly at you.
Yeah, he doesn't really care. He's not really paying attention at all. He just continues saying, well, if you excuse me, I need to go feed. So is this going to last much longer?
I believe we can conclude it here for tonight. Thank you all for your time and presence.
Well, Guntram nods and he gets up and gets his coat.
All right, and Guntram, do you have any feeding ground dots?
I do not.
All right, so go ahead and roll me a d10, and we'll see just how much blood you're on tonight.
Well, I already did that, and I only have 2 VtR. That's why.
Oh, I see. That's what that d10 roll was for. Oh, okay. You came to the meeting rather hungry and you were forced to sit through it.
Oh no.
Poor you. But now you get to leave with Sarah and Sterling. Let's see.
Yeah,
Have you seen a picture of Sterling yet? Here we
I
go.
don't think so. Okay.
Sterling, a nice little gentleman with a bit of a half a fake face.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you do get that creepy little vibe off of him you get from other Nosferatu too.
He's one of. I see. He's one of my clan.
And Sterling will put an arm around Sarah and give her a pat on the back. You did great there, Sarah. And look, we even have a little bit more assistance now, and a promise too.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you did this?
She's as soon as they get out of there, or as soon as the meeting is over, she's going to pull on her ratty old sweatshirt and just kind of like place Fitz protectively in one of the pockets.
As you step outside, there's of course a dog waiting for you.
Guntram actually comments after Sarah changed her attire. He actually comments. He says, that dress actually looked quite fetching on you, if I may say so.
She gives a very blank stare at Guntram, and she's like, "Yeah, not my style though."
Fair enough. I suppose everyone has their own ways, their own methods, their own styles.
I mean, I'm not Invictus. I'm not used to nice things.
You don't have to be Invictus to have nice things.
I can see that. And she like kind of looks over your suit. No, God damn it, Adam.
Oh,
Adam's got to go on an animal hunt now.
What did Fitz ever do to you?
nothing. But you don't take care of him. Poor Fitz.
I put him in my pocket for safekeeping. He's safe now. He's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You've got a squished Fitz in your pocket. That's what you got. Two-dimensional
I
rats.
handle him gently. The pocket is very spacious.
So Gunsham looks at the both of you, and he actually at Sterling and at Sarah, and he asks, "So what's where can I where would be the best place for me to find a evening snack?"
Sarah kind of smirks at this and she's like, well, with me, you take what you can get. I know a couple places where there rats are plentiful around here.
Oh God, no! I rather have something more nutritious.
Hey, it's sustaining. And you don't really feel too bad afterwards. I mean, they always kind of end up running screaming into the night.
To Jack's question, are they standing out in the rain? It is raining, but there is some small amount of covering just outside the building, and Sterling is pulling out an umbrella for Sarah.
Aww.
We'll have to punch tight. It's not very big.
He is best dad.
Well, I guess Gunjam is happy that he took his raincoat with him.
An essential here in Gotham.
Hmm. She kind of takes the hood of her coat and just sort of, hangs it low over her face. And she feels a little bit more comfortable now that she's kind of like hidden away.
Excellent. So, Guntram.
Sterling, any suggestions for me to feed around here, or am I really going to have to skulk the alleys to find some kind of homeless person?
Well, tell you what. I'm feeling in a nice and happy mood. How about you come along to one of my favorite establishments? Plenty of wonderful characters.
Sounds good to me. I believe you wanted to ask something.
Hope you like jazz.
Oh, I love jazz.
All right, then.
All right. Together you go to Sterling's Little Jazz Club.
Yes.
A pleasant little establishment. Nice wooden walls to echo the local band off the walls. One moment while we got here. Delivery. But yeah, gosh, I just totally lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. All right. The mood of the room is very casual, very quiet and polite. Everyone keeps very soft conversations just underneath the music, and enjoys just a pleasant little evening of just listening to the music. Much less rambunctious than Gene's Blue Nile Club, where people rushed in and out frequently just to bar hop and get drinks and have loud conversations. Sterling has a table assigned just for him. But you two may wish to go out among the people and strike up some conversations of your own for just a little bite.
So,
So Guntram, this is where you choose a tactic, we'll assign some sort of attribute and skill, and we'll just see how well you do.
well, the first question is this a kind of a place where do I notice any other predatory auras? Do I notice any other kindred in here, or is it mostly just mortals?
It is almost entirely mortals, save for the small group of you that walked in. This is Sterling's place. And as such, when you two will make a feeding roll here, if you wish, you will have a +2
Nice.
on whatever
Oh,
you
not
do.
bad.
Yeah, he's sharing tonight.
Well, I suppose his first tactic is just going to be the most straightforward one, and he's just gonna strike up a conversation with a woman, offer her a drink, probably an expensive one if she wants, and then after that he will probably see if he can convince her to come to the back with him.
All right. So let's see. So you're just going to be nice and charming.
Well, yeah.
So-
Well, I'm not sure if charming is the right word, but he's basically just gonna
Seductive,
try
maybe?
to. Yeah, he's gonna sort of creepily, but also, well, he's basically just gonna try to impress a woman, mostly with his wealth, because he certainly hasn't impressive looks. I mean, perhaps impressive in the sense that he's creepy, but he's.
You actually have
he will,
striking looks.
I don't have
Okay, you
striking
don't.
looks.
Okay, that's fine.
No.
Let's make it manipulation socialize or manipulation expression.
Well, I'll go for the manipulation plus socialize. You said we get a
Okay.
+2.
Sure do. Are you just going to go after the one person tonight, or maybe you'd like to go for
No.
more?
He's basically just gonna strike up a conversation with multiple women, but he does prefer to feed on women as opposed to men. It just feels better
Right.
that way, I suppose.
Since that's 50-50, I'm not going to impose a penalty for that. That's not too specific. Let's see. Any other bonuses or penalties? So you're just going to find the one person. It'll take about an hour to find someone willing to go with you. But you said that you were going to buy an expensive drink, weren't you?
Yeah.
And you know what?
Well, at least I'll offer.
I'll
You
let
know, after.
resources go into this. Go ahead and use that as a bonus to this particular check.
Okay. Well, I suppose an expensive drink will cost what? One resource dot or what? Like,
You're
how
not
do
going to
you,
spend
wanna
any
do that?
resources. You can easily buy anything here, but you are flexing it and
Yeah.
showing it off. So it is a bonus here.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Just a +1 from that, or
As many resources as you have.
oh,
The point is to show off how much money you have, isn't it?
Yeah, mostly, yeah, because you like
Then
expensive
show
suit
off your
and...
money for us.
So I get a pretty big bonus then. So I get my resource dots and I get the other +2 that you were talking about, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll make my roll then. First roll,
Ooh,
first
An
exceptional success.
exceptional success.
Holy
Oh yeah. Let me
I
tell
don't
you
know
what
A
why
that
bunch of
says.
girls after him.
I don't know
Things
why
go
I rolled
phenomenally well during the
this.
scene. I can give you at least 3 important identifying features or traits about the vessel. At an appropriate time in a later scene, you can request the vessel's involvement. And if you
Ha.
do, you can take a beat.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, that was not even because I accidentally clicked intelligence instead of manipulation. Manipulation is actually higher than my intelligence, but
Oh, I'll go ahead and roll an extra die.
Ooh.
Get 6 successes then, why not?
Get a 10, reroll, get a 10, reroll, get a 10,
let's see.
reroll. Get
simple
infinite
rolls.
success. Oh.
All right. Your girlfriend enjoys nice red dresses. She is an art fan.
Oh,
And let me go ahead and pull up the random name generator here.
that's fine. I usually have like a whole list of names prepared, like random names for my my campaign for when shit like this happens.
Oh yeah. And
She's
her
like,
name is going to be Carol Fernandez.
That's a nice name. He'll say.
Oh, I thank you. And to strike up conversation, you begin talking about this and that, and it gets onto the topic of art. And she becomes excited and ecstatic. And she, seeing how much money you have to throw around, obviously you know a lot about art.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead and give me
mostly-
an int
mostly
academic
music,
check. Let's
but-
see just how much you do know in this conversation.
Hold up, let me grab my sheet and I accidentally closed it. So was it a wits plus or an intelligence plus academics?
Intelligence.
All right.
Pure knowledge.
Intelligence was academics.
2. Okay. You actually know your way around art a little bit. And she is impressed. She is falling for you more and more by the moment, just being able to share this with you. And she just readily puts her arm around you. And when you make the invitation to go somewhere else, she's
A little
ready.
private. Yeah, when I get her in a more private space, assuming that this place is somewhat like a dark corner or somewhere, or perhaps like the restroom, or perhaps outside, although it is raining. But
there is some light cover, and if you just kind of go right around the corner to one of the alleyways, you will not be seen. It's almost as if this place was chosen intentionally for this. Weird, But you do it, and as she's being taken to the alleyway for what she assumes is a very good time, she just kind of texts, "Oh, and there's going to be this event at the Gotham Galleria tomorrow. It's going to be so fantastic. There's going to be German expressionist kind of things there. It's going to be an exhibition. It's going to be for charity fundraising. I won't have nearly enough money to say buy anything, but I just love to see it."
Well, if you give me your phone number, I can make some time tomorrow, perhaps invite you, because I was planning to go there myself.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think it's going to start at 10 p.m. tomorrow. Call it a date?
Sure.
She'll go ahead and exchange phone numbers with you real quick.
Wait, she wants to exchange phone numbers? Because that's not how Gunton rolls. He wants her phone number.
Well, you got an exceptional success. She really, really wants to be on your good side right now, so she'll accept that. She'll give you hers.
And he puts it in his phone. He's like, "I make sure to contact you. You can be certain of that."
And then she'll put an arm around your shoulder, gently push you up against the brick wall, and go, "So let's get started then."
Oh boy.
Well, he goes in for the feeding.
All right.
He goes in for the kiss, but not the kind of kiss that she's expecting.
And how much are you gonna take?
Well, I don't want to fucking drain her into the hospital, so probably four. I'll see if I can take 4 vitae from her.
Okay, you go ahead and take 4 vitae. She definitely seems a little bit woozier than before, but she seems very, very happy. As we fade to black of that.
Yeah, he will probably after that offer her to drop her off at her home, and then go back to Sarah and Sterling.
What a gentleman!
What a gentleman!
Hey, I don't want her to die on the street or some shit. So that's.
What a gentleman! There we go. And Sarah, were you planning to feed it all, or were you just going to have a nice little chat with Sterling?
Oh boy, Sarah is going to attempt to feed, but she is not going to do it in no way as suavely as Guntram has. She's most likely going to find a guy who is probably too deep in his cup and just kind of like sidle up alongside him and be like, "Hey, you want to make out?"
You know, what are we going to do for that? Let's go with presence, of course.
Oh god.
This is super straightforward. What are we going to do with that? Intimidation? I don't know. Let's make it persuasion.
Okay. Which I have none of.
You do, of course, get +2 because you are in Sterling's feeding ground.
Uh-huh.
Did you have striking looks at all?
No.
No.
I mean, she is
okay.
wearing a nice dress, though.
This is true. You are dressed well. You're looking for someone drunk, and of course, you're just kind of getting straight to it.
Mhm.
Tell you what, I'll give you a sympathy +1 on this one, just for circumstance. And
Okay.
we'll see if your ladylike demeanor matches up to Guntram's gentlemanliness.
This is gonna be good. I think I'd also like to spend a willpower on here for 3 extra dice.
Okay.
Yeah. So just so that I do the math here. So I have presence 1. I have, which is negated by my unskilled in persuasion, but I get a 3 dice plus an additional 1 for plus an additional 3 for Sterling and for sympathy.
Yes.
Okay. So that's actually 6 dice, and that's pretty good.
Hey,
All
it's
right.
a thing.
Hey.
Where did those first 3 dice come from?
Willpower.
Ah, willpower, of course.
Yep. She really wants to make out with this guy.
Oh boy.
Make out with me right now. Oh, but I guess I didn't really need to do that whole calculation thing because it's gonna do it for me. But
Very true.
persuasion. I'm so used to playing VTM lately that. Okay, so and then modifier 3. Does that work? Hey, there we go.
He just sort of looks at his cup. He looks over at you, kind of goes, "Sure."
Wait,
With all the
I forgot to put in
charisma of a
willpower
drunk
there.
man.
Roll 3d10. Holy shit!
Roll 2 more.
All right, well. So it's actually, yeah. Well, yeah. 3 successes.
All right. He'll go ahead and take you under his arm and take you outside for a nice little bite to eat.
Mm-hmm. And she's gonna take she's gonna take 3 from him. And while she's doing it, she's going to attempt to pick his pocket.
All right, he's going to be plenty busy. So
Oh my
let's go ahead and do a
God.
flat roll. Let's go ahead and do some
Amazing.
dexterity larceny.
Sarah
Yes.
has 0 integrity.
Does stealing from people's pockets affect your humanity? I don't think it does.
No.
You can
I
be as
mean,
greedy
it's-
as you want as a vampire.
I mean,
Not as,
she's just a
um,
bad person.
I'm just a bad person.
You're just a bad
Hey.
person. That's all.
Hey.
Stealing is very humane.
Hey, you know, I'm not gonna
It
steal
means
like
you still
everything.
care about mortal society and their fake money.
Exactly, right? I'm just acting human, you know.
Right? Yeah, like a bad human.
So Dex and larceny.
Yup.
All right.
You go for a feel, but you feel out for his wallet.
Yeah.
And there's a good $200 in it, you'll find out later. And of course, his ID, and his credit cards, and his family photos.
Picture of his mother.
And of course, the coupons for his favorite sushi bar and his membership clubs. Yeah, you know, it's all in there. But, you know, the $200 is in there too. Pretty
I mean,
nice.
she's gonna pocket the $200 and she's going to kind of like see if she can ease it back into his coat.
Mhm.
And yeah.
In the throes of feeling the wonderful intensity of the kiss, he doesn't care if you put your hand right back in. He wants it there.
Of course he does. All right. So yeah, as soon as she gets what she wants, she just kind of up and leaves him in the alley. And heads back to Sterling.
Damn it, Adam. All right.
Yeah,
So you
definitely
head back
don't
up
need
the s-
that.
So you head back up to Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
And now is the time where you sit and have a nice little conversation. And we'll shift over to Thomas and Jean, research boys, for just a
Yeah,
moment.
Dream